Anna walk her through her journey with DataHub at Viasat. Anna, I'm going to, would you like to take over the screen share?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's been really a pleasure to pick this tool and really worked with the community to get it into production. We also recently, just a couple of months ago, deployed DataHub in production. It's been working really well, and so we're excited to share how we are using it and how what our future plans and sort of how we arrived at the selection of this tool. So my role at Viasat is the technical product manager of our analytics platform. So I've been working with data for quite a bit. So it's always been a passion of mine. And so metadata is definitely part of that as well. And Viasat as a whole, we are a satellite communications company. So they're ISP. We provide internet through globally to communities, to residential, commercial, aviation, variety of other services. And so at Viasat, kind of the state of our users and data is definitely very complex. Our core data platform has, which I'm a part of, has a lot of different data sources and microservices, data flows, data analytics tools. But we also, as the core data platform was evolving, in parallel, we ended up with a lot of mini data lakes, databases, data sources all over the place. And so it's definitely been a complicated landscape to work with. In addition to that, we have a variety of different skilled users from data suppliers and preparers, and then even within the data consumers themselves, there's different capabilities, different skills that users have when they interact with data, and from data analysts that work more with reporting tools to data scientists who are ready to really dig in and explore the data set. So there's definitely quite a complex data personas there as well. And the company has set the goal to really be very data driven. And part of it, of course, is just really even getting access to data. And how do we find all this small mini data silos and explore it to the users in a very good approached way. And so some of the challenges that we are trying to resolve, I don't think there is a really new to many of you, since you are here and part of this community. And so the siloed knowledge about data is definitely one of the challenges we're trying to address by introducing the Data Hub and the data catalog, helping our users to, helping our users to even find data, to remove this tribal knowledge, remove the bottlenecks where our small analytics teams has to constantly work with different teams to explain to them all the data that's available and what the data contains and how to best operate with the data. So the slow analytics process of even many of our users frequently complain about even finding what data is available to them. Can they even access the data? What's where and what teams to work with when getting to the data? And it's been, even in the last couple of months, the community has been, as we introduced the data catalog, the community already been very excited. And we see a lot of users coming to the data catalog, looking and asking questions and providing a lot of feedback. So it's definitely been a pleasure to introduce that within the company. In addition to that, so one of the interesting challenges we're trying to solve by introducing data catalog, finding all the siloed data infrastructure and potentially integrating it into the core data platform to help the company really decrease the operational costs that today a bit inflated, to decrease operational complexity for many teams, and to really concentrate on data processing and utilization of data rather than maintaining and securing a lot of data systems around. So in the next couple of quarters, we're sort of working with multiple teams at Viasat to ingest their metadata and to understand what data is out there and how could we best address different scenarios of operating the data sets. And of course, the compliance complexity. Our compliance team has a very small team, and as the company growing and working with global customers around the world, including Europe and Brazil and Africa. So a lot of countries, as you all know, introduced different compliance laws and policies. And so the company has definitely been looking for solutions. And we have started looking at commercial solutions for data catalog, but unfortunately couldn't find anything that would really fit our needs. And so I just was in a meeting this week with our compliance team about the DataHub, and was sharing everything that Shashanka and I was talking earlier this week of all the roadmap and all the items, features we'll be introducing. And they've been very, very excited to see and work with us to solve a lot of their use cases and a lot of manual operations that they do today, and really improve our compliance posture within the Viasat itself. And so our technology evaluation started sometime June, I think, last year. And we were very excited, and DataHub became open source. We've been sort of following the journey of that product within LinkedIn. We've always been a fan of LinkedIn products. And we've operated Kafka, a few other systems. So it's always been really a pleasure to see when LinkedIn open source as a product. And so DataHub definitely made a list for evaluation. And some other systems we looked at is Apache Atlas. We looked at Amundsen, Netflix Metacat. And a few things that we evaluated on is really just general functionality, the feature richness. We were looking for lineage, was really important for us, ease of search of the data, different metadata ingest methods, overall security of a product, as well as data modeling flexibility was important to us because, as I pointed out earlier, there are definitely a variety of mini data silos around the company. And we definitely anticipated the challenge of trying to model all that data in a very flexible way to ensure that we onboard all the teams and not limited in that ability to onboard them, right? And so ease of development, what do I mean by this? We are sort of, we like open source products. We like to contribute to open source product as well. And so we did evaluate what tech stack is behind each of these products to ensure that we are capable of submitting PRs and really understanding the code that's needed, maybe even helping with some bug fixes with the community. So that was one of our evaluation criteria. And then ease of operations. Our team is very small, and we do operate a variety of different tools and systems. And the easier the process is, the stability of a product is really important for us. The upgrades, just really deployment and evaluation from development to production, ability to integrate and test the tools before promoting to production. So all of these components definitely were evaluated as well. The scalability, we do have a lot of data, and we do have a lot of different microservices. So when we start talking about the lineage and ability to really capture a lot of the different events that's happening with the data, we wanted to make sure that the scale is not a problem for the new tool that we select. Additionally, with a roadmap, we knew that we won't be able to sort of take advantage of all the features immediately for our customers. So we wanted to do like a slow rollout and addition of the various features within Viasat. And so we looked at the DataHub roadmap for open sourcing multiple features and really well aligned with what we were trying to do, introducing the lineage, introducing ML models, introducing some of the metrics functionality and data quality ratings. So it sort of a timeline looked great, and just the fact that we were seeing everything we needed on that roadmap was really exciting. And then community rating, just for the product itself, the GitHub rating, and just how well community supports the product. So we took a look at it as well. And I guess it's no surprise, since I'm here today, the DataHub was the product we selected, and so far so good. It's been really good journey. So some of the things that we did deploy the backend for the DataHub. However, we implemented our own UI. Not really implemented per se, but we did have an existing interface for some of our access requests with some basic search functionality that held some of the metadata already. And so we reused that because customers were already familiar with that UI, and they were a lot of the access requests were automated, and we didn't want to remove that from our customers, and we didn't want to sort of extend and fork the DataHub UI as well. So that's sort of one of the reasons why we went with our own UI. We did also added the feedback button to our UI to gather as much of the information for our users as possible. We introduced some of the product metrics. So we have the product analytics that's being gathered from this UI to really understand how users are interacting with data, what type of features they want, as we also introduce new features to make the experience as easy as possible. And then some way flexibility of integrations with some of the tools that we have. So we wanted to keep that option. So as an example, some of the global metric store that we are working on to express that in the same interface, some of the potential visualizations of the data, like sampling of the data or some sample graphs within the within our UI itself, and maybe even for our compliance team, introducing some type of reporting mechanism within the UI and having it sort of like all integrated experience. So we went with that approach, where UI is ours, but backend, we try not to fork it. We rather contribute to open source community, and we have been doing that a little bit already, which kind of leads me to the experience. So the operations, I chatted with the team this week to really understand were there any issues in deployments as we were doing it. And there were minor things in the beginning when we were integrating with our Kafka, the secure Kafka. And I believe Javier Sotelo on my team, so he contributed the small code to exposing some of the Kafka parameters at the time. And we were really happy to see that being really, I think it was like within the days, it was accepted and merged. So we were able to quickly proceed with our deployments. I think some of the other issues he've been contributing as well, that's been accepted. I think he helped even with some of the code reviews. So that's been really good to see just how well the community, how sort of responsive community has been, and how accepting, welcoming. So it's really been good for us. So as I mentioned, it's been operating in production really well for a few months now. We have kind of bypassed the full dev setup and went straight to production, and then did the dev setup so we could iterate on all the new functionality very quickly. So today we operated on both. We did, I think, we didn't do much of a complex modeling today, but so far we also had great experience to sort of port in a lot of the data that we maintain in some of our small mini catalog. And so it was very simple, and we really were excited to see the RFC for the business glossary. We've been looking at some of the compliance taxonomy and thinking maybe we could contribute to a conversation around that as well, since it's on our roadmap, and we're excited to work with the community to see how that could be a joint conversation. And so just even presenting here today, so it's definitely a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's kind of what we have today and what's the future state is. So we do have in production, we harvested some of the core data platform and we integrated with our UI. And right now we are starting to work with the rest of the Viasat teams, and we already got a lot of interest from all these teams, which was very good to hear and see, because I think it's been, we realized that we're not the only one who sort of operate the data infrastructure, but needed this functionality. And the team has been really delivering very good products within the company and good service. And so we have this trust of our teams that we introduced a good tool, and we worked with them, sort of explain, this is the DataHub features, this is the evaluation process. We shared the DataHub information with them. And all the teams have been really supportive of our selection of a product. So it's making this adoption definitely much easier for us. And so we're working with the rest of the teams to ingest information about their data. We're working with a compliance team to see how we could introduce features necessary for them. The lineage has been really anticipated within the companies. So they're waiting on that and we'll be probably around this summer really integrating with all our tools to introduce the lineage visualizations. And then dashboards and reports, we're really excited to see the RFC and the backend implementation for dashboards. So it's definitely, we've been following that very closely, as well as the ML models. We're starting to sort of standardize a lot of our ML approaches around the company, and that will be very good to add into the data catalog. And then metrics and data quality integration would be sort of following closely. So as I mentioned earlier, when we were looking at the roadmap for the DataHub, it's really well aligned with where we were going as a company. And so it's definitely was another reason why DataHub was the tool we selected. And I think that's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna.